What is going on, guys? It's good to be back reviewing this series because Spider-Man 2099 was getting so good, and then obviously University got in the way, and it's just like, man, it's just awesome to get back into this. Now, believe it or not, guys, when I bought this issue, I actually accidentally bought 2 of them, which means there is a physical comic giveaway for this issue. So guys, pretty much to enter the giveaway, literally just leave a comment on this video and make sure you're a subscriber, and I'll choose a winner when I review the next issue. Now, in case any of you guys need your memories jogging as to what happened in the previous issue, we basically saw a brand new Inhuman be created, be born. If you remember, it was in that egg, that scientist got trapped in it, and then all that craziness happened, and then at the end of the issue, this new Inhuman who was a golden woman emerged from it. So yeah, that was a little crazy. But now that you're caught up to speed and now that I've said about the giveaway, we can get into this review, guys, so let's do it. Alright, so to kick this review off, I really want to say that I enjoyed this issue a lot. Like, seriously, just the way... Obviously, this character who's become an Inhuman used to be an actual human, and now that she's become this Inhuman with all like this kind of unlimited power, it's almost like Neo becoming the one in the Matrix. And I think a really good form of showing how powerful you are is when she gets rid of that villain just by basically pointing her hand at him. Like, that guy was really powerful and should have obliterated Spider-Man in the previous issue. And I really liked how she became kind of like a god, you know, like talking about how she spared that villain instead of just mercilessly killing him. I don't exactly know what I'm trying to say here, but I think it's just that attitude that she has, knowing that she could probably obliterate him, is just awesome. She kind of reminds me of the Beyonders, you know, like the Beyonder from like the 90s Spider-Man TV series or the comics where they can basically just think of anything and it will happen. That's basically what she's become, like a really powerful Inhuman. And something that I absolutely loved about this comic and her character is that straight away when you first meet her, you see all like these intentions she has, and you ultimately think that she's kind of like a loose cannon, like she's got all this power that she can possibly imagine and you can't control her no matter what you do. And you're like, alright, she wants to be God, she wants to make sure there's no like evil in the world or anything like that, and you're kind of like, yeah, that's pretty cool, that's like understandable, that's good intentions. And then she straight up just turns around and he's like, yes, everyone will worship me, and I feel like that's where she kind of falls off the deep end a little bit, you know, kind of being a little bit arrogant, and it seems like one of those things where her power is kind of getting in the way of general knowledge, because if you think about it, in the Marvel Universe, many people, villains and everyone have tried making people worship them, so why would people worship her? It just doesn't happen. So I feel like she's being blinded from that because of how much power she's got. Like, she's being a little bit overconfident, if you get what I mean. And I love how, as the reader, you feel that lack of control over this character. Like, she's kind of a loose cannon, and Spider-Man's trying to reason with her, and she's just not listening. And as I've already said, I love how that gets translated through the pages to you, and that's just awesome. One thing I've also noticed quite recently as well is that the comics seem to be integrating, you know, like the 21st century into their comics a lot more, you know, like with social media, like Twitter and Instagram and all that, especially in that Spidey comic series that I was reviewing. I actually need to catch up on that series as well, but you can see that Spider-Man 2099 actually searches through Twitter and stuff like that to see what people are tweeting to find out where Gloriana is, and I think that's really interesting because it brings you that much closer into believing what's actually happening in the comic, because it's kind of set in real time with our, like, real life as well. Now, as for Spider-Man as a character in this series, over the issues we've seen that he's become, I'd say, a little bit more brutal, especially with what happened to Tempest like a few issues ago, or actually quite many issues ago, where like that van exploded like into their restaurant and she got put into a coma. He thinks that she's dead, and just after that he's become a lot more brutal, and what I mean is he actually took the first swing at Gloriana by putting a bomb on her wrist. Like, it's almost like he just accepted that she needs to be taken down, and he's going to do whatever it takes to do that. And therefore, taking the first strike is the first step to victory. Type of, like, kind of, maybe I just really like how Spider-Man goes around things like this. And I thought it was so awesome how Spider-Man kind of replies to Gloriana in his head, you know, like when she says something and he's just like, okay, crazy lady, you're insane. And throughout the issue, I genuinely thought that Gloriana would probably be able to read his mind or something like that, and she'd probably, like, hear what he's saying in his head, and I was really looking forward to seeing that, but it just didn't happen, so I was kind of like, is she really a god if she can't read people's minds? I mean, even people in the X-Men can do that. Or maybe she just doesn't know that she can do it yet. I don't know. One thing I would also like to address is that we had this statue of Jesus falling over as well, and I'm not actually sure whether it was Gloriana who pulled that over to try and crush Spider-Man, or whether the statue just genuinely fell, because if it actually just fell by itself, then I actually see that as maybe in the comic, like God answering Gloriana by trying to kill her, especially when she said it being a huge mistake. I was kind of like, is she talking to God or Jesus, or is she actually just talking to Spider-Man for punching her in the face? Anyway, going into like the rest of the comic and just how the story ties together, I thought it was really interesting how they managed to keep it within like a certain, well, actually not that many locations. Like obviously at the beginning of the issue it was like in a certain place, then it was at the Statue of Liberty, and then the rest just basically took place at Parker Industries and then the church. And I like how they brought characters over from Parker Industries to the church. And what you've got to remember is that Gloriana, aka Rhonda's past life, was at Parker Industries, and her girlfriend actually worked at Parker Industries. So I thought it was awesome how her past life kind of caught up with her, and as you could see, Gloriana's girlfriend got stabbed through the chest by Gloriana's hand, and this kind of made Gloriana realize that she's kind of been a little bit too reckless, and the shock just kind of overpowered her and she just disappeared and teleported away. And I think that's probably the best way to end the comic, because I couldn't really see this ending any other way. Like, it was either Gloriana was going to win and she was going to become a god and she'd become a future threat, or something like this would happen where she like realizes something and she runs away, or she'd have to be killed. So yeah, I think this issue wrapped up really well, and I'm not gonna lie, I genuinely do not know what the final panel was of the comic. Like seriously, it's shown Gloriana like two like little sparkles, and I'm like, is she part of the mountain or is she part of the sky or something? Like, where is she? Maybe you guys can figure that out and tell me in the comments below. But guys, that is the end of this issue. That is the end of this review. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget about the giveaway. I will be announcing that when I review the next issue very soon. And of course, don't forget that I'll be giving away comic codes on my Twitter, so you can go to the links in the description, follow me on there, and look out for those as well. And whilst you're at it, follow me on my Facebook page for the latest in comic book news and updates, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram to see like pictures of my comics that I've picked up, etc. Now, as for this issue, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 just because I really enjoyed it. I love Spider-Man's character. I love how Gloriana was handled as a character as well. She didn't seem like too much of a villain, but you could see as the comic progressed, she became a little bit more psychotic, a little bit more controlling, and as I've already said, you felt that as the reader that she was out of control, and even yourself felt like you couldn't control her, so that was just awesome to feel as well. And just how the comic wrapped up as a whole left me feeling whole, if you get what I mean. Like, I didn't feel like there was any loose ends or anything like that, so that was awesome. Now guys, to end this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all next time.